It was 2018. We had just wrapped up our second full year owning a staffing business. We were doing primarily light industrial, temp to hire staffing. But for 2 years, we had picked up each year a little bit more and a little bit more direct hire business. And that was an exciting pivot in the business. So I started trying to pick up more and more of that and struggled to grow it as fast as we wanted to. And I was kind of confiding one day in our franchisor's CEO. And he made the suggestion, maybe you should think about having a second brand, a different name that you run the direct hire business over, and you can market that differently. And he kind of walked me through the game plan. And I thought about that for months and months. And one day walked into our kitchen at home, just got home from work. I was all excited. I'd been thinking about this for months, and just kind of blurt out to my wife. I'll never forget, she was making macaroni and cheese for our then only son, now our oldest son. And I said, hey, I think we have to open a second company, and kind of told her real quickly what the plan was, and she didn't even look up. She kind of kept doing what she was doing. A couple seconds went by, felt like 10 minutes, and kind of looked up at me and said, hey, I don't know if that's the way you go into a conversation like that. But in my head, I was excited because remember, I've been thinking about this for months. So I tell her the whole story, what my plan is, how we'll do it. And she doesn't really react again and kind of looks up then after a long pause and says, I trust you, go for it. And so the next day I go into the office, I'm excited. I tell my coworkers, hey, this is what I'm thinking. This is the idea. This is the vision I have for it. And one of them said, okay, what are we going to call it? And the room kind of went flat. And I was like, well, I haven't figured that out yet. And our most tenured employee at the time, she actually was one of the people who trained me when I started here 10 plus years ago, said it should be the Morgan Benjamin Search Group. And that's my wife's name, Morgan, and my name's Ben. But the homage to put my wife's name in there, really that business wouldn't have been a thing had it not been for her. We wouldn't have been able to buy the business had my wife not had her own career. And I had to take a big step back financially when we bought the business and took on a lot of debt. And she was right there with me through that whole thing. I was working days, nights, and weekends for the first couple of years to get that business to grow and to bring in more money so we could hire more help at the company. We were a pretty skeleton crew at first. And she took care of everything at home. She took care of the house, the kids, the family, and I was only able to focus on work because of her. And I didn't know it at the time, nor did she, that she would one day work in the company with me. So now it's pretty cool to have both of those names that are up on the wall here working in the building together. And so that's the story of the Morgan Benjamin Search Group.